Boom, we are back. That's right. The four Bs, Mr. All In, aka the Trillion Dollar Man, Dr. Evil 10%, aka the People's Champ, myself, So Never Look, aka the Excellence of Execution, and no surprise, no misses, no show, Pod 196. What's going on? Uptick in Bitcoin.
Man, 60k Bitcoin. It's been a while, isn't it?
It's been a while.
Been floating
Rejoice,
around.
rejoice. It makes such a difference when it's green.
It is. It's just nice, isn't it? It's just a nice little 15-20% up from that 50k that we were at a few weeks ago. And yeah, it's just ticking up
Yeah,
nicely.
yeah.
Just
I
nice.
like
It's
it.
just nice. I like it nice and stable as well. We have had no big 10-20% days. And obviously the
Jesus. If
it was
you look on what day was it? Actually Monday. It was shot up like 2 grand within a move. It's like someone bought a significant amount of Bitcoin on that day.
did a bit of DCA in there, but
A bit of DCA.
Yeah, well, yeah, the price sometimes just it jumps and then comes back down, doesn't it? But it's just nice and steady. And obviously we've had the Bitcoin conference, and that
Mm,
is notoriously the price typically, because obviously the Bitcoin conference has really only ever had really an impact since 2020, since like the whole lockdown catastrophes. But those events have really pumped the price because everyone's excited about what's going to get said at the Bitcoin conference. And then inevitably, what gets said is not as big or as impactful as what people wanted. So it's a buy buy the rumor, sell the news type event. And so typically, once that event
yeah,
finishes, we tend to dump. And it's always a bit depressing. It's like we've had all this fantastic stuff said at the biggest conference of the year, and then yeah, we're minus 10%. Now, what was the fucking point? Let's not have the conference. But this year, I don't think anyone was expecting anything particularly. It was all just a bit, don't give a shit. And yeah, we've come out the other side and we've had a little pump. So it feels like, the Bitcoin's growing up a little bit and yeah, just slow and steady wins the race, right? So yeah, it's been a good couple of weeks since we last did a pod when it
yeah.
comes to price.
I just haven't been
But
paying attention in all honesty to the price. I'm just looking now. And
Yeah, we
yeah, the
just
last month.
just ticked over the magic 60k. It's been I don't even know how long it's been since we were at 60k in pounds. This is
yeah, you're right.
been
It's
months.
been months. It has. It's been
It
months.
was January. So end of January at 60k.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plus yeah. So 3 months,
It's a
4 months.
decade in the world of Bitcoin.
Yeah, when we don't every time. I think you always just anchor your mind, don't you? Whatever it's been the last couple of months, you're just bored of
Correct.
that. And I've been, you know, Bitcoin's been largely low 50s for the last, yeah, for as long as I can remember in the recent memory, it's been in the low 50s, just
Yeah.
up and down. Not really ever getting past 55, really. Stuck at 55, 50 to 55. And then we got through 55, 56, 57, 58, and now we're at 60.
Mm.
And I have,
I'm already bored of 60.
of course. Yeah, we I must admit, we were at 90, so we've still got some room to go until we reach the all-time highs. But this year, let's see, this year.
We've got to at least do something like epic, go back to all-time highs and have some euphoria. I mean, imagine if we go from 60 to 120 eventually, like after going through what we've just gone through, Bitcoin world will be on fire. The
Mm,
masses will just maybe just like, yeah, but everyone else, it'd be like, yeah,
yeah.
whole
I,
new
I
world.
that's why I do think this bear market is different to previous ones. I think everyone, nearly every bear market before this has it's been blood in the streets, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
everyone's just lost faith to a certain degree in Bitcoin. Like 90% of people do. And it's the 10% that hold that then
Yeah.
get the gains once we hit the bull market again. but it's just pure pain and suffering. It's a long drawn out, and it's death by 1,000 cuts, and they're big cuts, really big, deep.
Deep.
Almost
Deep.
this one is almost like it's almost like death by boredom. It's almost like, oh, nothing's going to happen. Bitcoin's not going to hugely dump, but it's also not going to hugely pump. So I know, I think quite a few people might have just moved on with their life and gone, oh, there's better investments elsewhere. Obviously, AI now is floating around, and yeah, I don't know. It's almost like the sentiment of some of the people that I talk to as well, of almost just what the hell? What is this thing meant to be doing? Like, do something, Bitcoin. And yeah, so that's basically my cope for maybe we don't get a very sharp bottom. I hope we don't. Because
So what is it? 2028 is the next halving, and we usually see like a vacuum in the year before the halving, don't we? That's when it's at its worst. Is that
yeah.
usually a pattern?
Well, usually it'll be about now, really. It's normally like a really poor drop, like quite soon after the bull market, but it's questionable whether we massively had one, right? We got past the last all-time high, but not by a huge amount. And
So
then
we had
but then we also
December 2022. So what's that? Just over 18 months after the halving is when it hit the doldrums, wasn't it? Remember when it was about 13K?
yeah.
So yeah, I suppose it should be around about now, according to the last cycle.
What, the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people are anticipating, right? There's been a lot of naysayers kind of looking at a very extreme bottom, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Anyway, let's just move on to some stories, eh? So we have over here, actually, let's just see what I can share on here. So we have more quantum FUD. So we've got Project 11 here, who's awarded 1 Bitcoin for the largest quantum attack on the elliptic curve cryptography, which basically people can read it for themselves. But essentially, what they're trying to prove by this is that somebody has used quantum computing to break a part of the encryption that therefore ensures Bitcoin is safe. But as you can see here, there's already community notes on here that basically it's what they say was hacked relies on classical verification of outputs indistinguishable from a random noise equivalent to classical guessing. While quantum threats to cryptography advancing, this does not demonstrate effective quantum key breaking. So yeah, essentially, someone's basically paid 1 Bitcoin to somebody to pretend that they broke Bitcoin style cryptography. But basically it demonstrated nothing. It just produced a random number, and yeah, it's just a random noise. And yeah, anybody could obviously produce a random number, but it didn't use quantum computing whatsoever. But and I think people have dug into this a little bit more, and guess what? Who's behind it? There's some shitcoiners, XRP, Bcash type people that are funding this stuff just to try and just shit on Bitcoin. And who knows, maybe they're trying to buy some Bitcoin cheap or something. If you could convince the world that Bitcoin was about to be basically insecure and just holding Bitcoin in a normal wallet is now no longer safe. That's the type of thing that if I was to hear that properly, that's the type of thing that would make me leave Bitcoin if it lost its security. So that's what they're trying to pretend has happened, right? And it hasn't. And your Bitcoin is absolutely safe. So just
Yeah,
good old fun.
I had someone at a work event lately, trying to play me down on Bitcoin, trying to be clever. It's like, well, what about quantum computing? I'll take down Bitcoin. It's like, won't it take down bank accounts first? And they're like, well, but they could go for Bitcoin. I'm like, well, there's a lot more money in bank accounts and through banks, but they get caught. Where's that going to go? I'm like, do you think they won't track down the Bitcoins? And it's just like I think it's just everyone's obsessed with quantum computing, like everyone's obsessed with nuclear fission. But nuclear fission's been in the works since probably the 70s.
Oh, yeah, but nuclear fission's a real thing. Quantum computing is just a theory. There's no
Well,
guarantee we can do it.
nuclear fission for power is really a theory. It's never been, is it nuclear fission?
That's,
They want to put it into widespread use, and it's just like not possible.
uh, yeah. Well, like the
It
comparisons are
is
always dangerous,
also
right? Because it's just, in my opinion, quantum computing is absolute bollocks. It's just the same as fucking climate change. It's just another grift. But let's move on. We've already mentioned the Bitcoin conference, so here it is. Weren't big fans of it this year. Obviously, last year was Trump's big fucking talk and all that, which promised a lot, delivered a little. What was going to happen this week, or this year? It was the FBI were going to present the FBI director, Kash Patel, which I'm not even sure. He didn't even bother turning up. I think he WebExed in, which is so fucking lame. But he was like a massive advocate for let's release the Epstein files, blah, blah, blah. And now he's an advocate for saying we have released them, there's nothing in them, fully investigated. And it was just total nonsense. Like, what are we doing? Like, inviting the FBI to a Bitcoin conference?
It's got a cool first name.
Cash.
well, really, the FBI at the conference.
Yeah, the head of the FBI.
Oh gosh,
Doing like a keynote speech and stuff. It's just silly.
silly,
By the way,
silly.
guess where his wife's from?
Not one of these.
Mexico. Where's the wife from?
Israel.
Oh,
You knew it when you
So you haven't been on many in the last couple of months. So never look. It's always the answer to these questions.
The default answer is now Israel.
I'm just like, I know what's coming.
The new way to get us cancelled, or the Jew way to get us cancelled.
Don't know what you're on about. We're just talking about the blues.
I'm playing a character. This is pure parody. So yeah, so then we also had some directors from the White House having a little chat, and I don't know whether I should even bother playing this clip. It's so fucking lame, but go on, we might as well just fucking play it because got nothing else to do. It's 48 seconds long, and they're basically giving us an update on the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve.
Signed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve executive order last year, and we've gone to work in figuring out exactly the machinations necessary and legal interpretations that we need to get that right and solidify that and protect the digital assets, but specifically Bitcoin that we have on the government balance sheet. So in the next few weeks, we'll be making a big announcement. I think we have a bit of a breakthrough there. And obviously that needs to be followed up with legislation. Senator Lummis's Bitcoin Act over in the House. Representative Begich has talked about the ARMA Act that he has put together. So we need to codify it. But in the meantime, we do believe we're going to be able to take a big step forward from the executive branch side in the next few weeks.
That's huge news.
No, it's not. Did you not hear him speak then? He's like, oh, we might have an update in the next couple of weeks, but
We
then
might have something.
Then it needs to go through legislation. Then it needs to be codified. How hard is it to go, oh yeah, we're going to put X billion into Bitcoin and hold it as a strategic reserve? It's chicken feed for America, but obviously it's just like Trump said it very clearly as the president. I've never seen this guy before ever. So whoever the White House executive director is, I have never seen this guy ever. And he turns up at a Bitcoin conference going, oh yeah, we have got an update on that. It's coming out in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, shut up, mate. No, you haven't.
But his name's not Cash.
And then Yeah, I don't know. We got the conference wasn't all shit. There was the odd thing that was all right on it. We have this little. There's plenty of clips, but actually, yeah, this is probably the good stuff. We've got the bad, we've got the good, and then we've probably got the ugly to finish it off. So let's listen to Tim Old Draper.
Say to people, I mean, I used to say, hey, buy some Bitcoin. It's fun. It's interesting. Might be kind of an interesting thing to hold on to. Now I say, you better hold Bitcoin. If you want to protect your family, you want to protect your company, you want to protect your country, you better have some Bitcoin. In fact, it's irresponsible now for a company to operate and have a big treasury and not have some portion of that 5, 10, 15% in Bitcoin. Because, well, when Silicon Valley Bank went out of business, we almost saw the domino effect. We almost lost all the banks right there. And if that ever happens, you as leaders of your businesses are going to be responsible for payroll for at least 2, maybe 4 weeks. And if you're in Europe, you're responsible for payroll for years. And so you better have some Bitcoin on your balance sheet so you can make those payroll and keep your business afloat. If you run a family, if you manage a family's money, you ought to have about 6 months worth of Bitcoin, because if the dollars that you own are suddenly worthless, what are you going to do? And if you're a government, and if there is hyperinflation in your government, and the currency goes the way the old Argentinian peso or the Nigerian naira went, and you don't hold any Bitcoin, your government coffers are worthless. So it's gone from, telling people, hey, this is a really interesting opportunity, to telling people, you should be scared if you don't own Bitcoin. You should be very, very worried.
So there we go. What do you think?
I think he doesn't know what he's talking about. Who is the Tim Draper guy?
Stupid old billionaire.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the situation at the moment, in the UK, anyone who's listening from abroad, we've had the warnings about, you should start living a bit more of a humble life. You should, holidays aren't always a thing. And it's always kind of warnings. You're going, why are you giving these warnings? And we're going to get a raft of inflation coming. And this is because of all the printing which the government's been doing. And this is, we are a lot further away from the money prints than the people in America. So we don't get our wages increased. It just kind of like stayed pretty much the same average wages since 2000, whilst the money supply is over doubled. And yeah, we are slowly being ground down, aren't we? And you can just see that we're starting to that point of, God, what the hell's going to happen? There's got to be another answer. I think he's spot on. You need to have, what is your way out? Because fear is not going to give you a survival route.
Yeah, I like how he touched on all three kind of like core customers there, which is just the everyday person running a family or running a business or running a government. And trusting fiat is not going to work out well for you. And I read some of the comments actually underneath that tweet. It comes from quite a big account. So I think when these big accounts do tweet out Bitcoin stuff, you get a lot of normies that are underneath it. And the majority of comment that I could see was, oh, Bitcoin is trying to scare us into joining their Ponzi scheme again. And it always
I was going to say that.
Makes me laugh when that's the thing. It's like, oh, you think we're just trying to scare you? It's like, no, it's just facts. It's like all the data points towards the fact that fiat is going to hit hyperinflation, and essentially the value of your money will go to zero. and it's happened to every form of money in the past. It's happened to many forms of fiat right now. Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Argentina, blah, 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 blah. So it hasn't happened to the pound, it hasn't happened to the euro, it hasn't happened to the US dollar yet. That's it. But it's what makes those currencies different. They're the biggest and the strongest, have the biggest armies, that's it. But do they have the ability to make that currency last forever? And it's the answer is just no. The speed that they are printing at, they know they need to reset it.
I was going to say we've had all sorts. We've had the mass importation of immigrants to bring the wages down, which was admitted by Boris Johnson. And it's just anything which can get the price. They're hoping that tech does it. They're hoping that cheaper labour does it. Then it's like, what else can we do to bring it down? Globalization. We've got armies of people in other countries bringing the cost of production down in poor countries like Sri Lanka, who really have been completely revamped to provide the G8 with all their goods and needs, and we're still struggling.
I know. Even good old shrinkflation.
For me, Tim Draper is an interesting guy, and I had a book of his back in 2017 where he's talking about Bitcoin. But you know, when you just have a backlog of stuff and you just don't get round to reading it, and then eventually I got round to reading it and thinking, the answer was always there. Like he was saying, go ahead, buy Bitcoin, and would have been in the early days of when it just started to get a little bit easier. But yeah, it's just like wow. But I wholeheartedly stand by everything that he said and echo what you just said about, you know, every fiat currency has gone to zero, and he sounds like a crazy guy, no doubt, right now to the average normie of get off zero, buy Bitcoin. It sounds like I'm trying to shill you, you know, buying Bitcoin and joining into this Ponzi scheme, but he's right in terms of it's just the majority of people are just not ready yet to truly buy in to what he's saying.
I remember when I first joined Bitcoin, I would see a video like that and go, it's not like the most eloquent speech ever, but it's all right. And then you'd see the comments and just basically just not agreeing with him at all, just going, fear doesn't sell anything. And I'd be in there replying, trying to educate these people. But now I just go, you just don't get it. Like, just fucking stay there then. You know, don't buy Bitcoin. You're not ready. You know, just if what you just said didn't scare you a little bit, that the banks could all just collapse. Like, just prove him wrong first. Prove him wrong. And like, to give me a reason why the
problem with
banks...
that is it takes too much brain power, and they also don't have the foundational financial understanding as to what that actually means. So when he talked about when the banks collapsed, or when was it like he mentioned a bank, didn't he?
Yes, Silicon
Valley Bank. 8 or 9 out of 10 people would have never really heard of Silicon Valley Bank, and what happened, and around that period of time. So we all know about it because we're all in the space. But the majority of people would just be like, I don't get what you mean. And it has no bearing on them.
Yeah. To be honest, it's even for people like us that literally we covered that whole thing on the pod.
Yeah.
And I've largely forgotten that.
Yeah.
We also had a UK bank. Which one was it? Was it Lloyd's or something like that? It's one of the big ones.
Did we? What, in the last couple of years?
Yeah, they're underwritten by the government. They put some really weird phrasing. So technically, they weren't bailed out, but they were bailed out.
I think it was a Swiss bank.
No, it's an English one because it was absorbed by one of the UK banks.
I have to Google it.
So it was, what's his name? Rishi Patel. Is it Rishi Patel?
Rishi Sunak.
Dishy Rishi.
Bang. Really?
So I remember you having an
Oh,
argument with someone on LinkedIn, and like the share price has shot down, and he was reading the share price backwards because the chart was showing was it right to left, and you were like, read the chart again.
Oh God, I just Googled his name. Do you know where she sent at? If I can works now.
It's not Israel, is it?
Actually, weirdly enough, it is for Israel company, Goldman Sachs, the biggest bank in the world.
He was he did work for one of those previously though, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he worked at Goldman Sachs in the 2000s. And now he advises them on global politics and the economy, with compensation donated to charity.
Whatever. His father-in-law, doesn't he own one of the biggest companies in India?
Probably. Oh man, it's so corrupt, but what can you do, right? How can you have ex-prime ministers and stuff going work in these senior positions at the banks when they are the ones that when the banks go under, it's these guys that are supposedly make the call on whether they get bailed out or not. Like, how can you make that not a conflict of interest when your short term as prime minister, which is either going to be 4 8 years max, which is a tiny amount of time, really, when you think about the length of a career. If you would do something that fucks the banks, but is the right thing for the country, you are indirectly fucking yourself over. Because if you just are nice to the banks, they'll just reward you so handsomely.
But you think
Why
like
decentralization is so key.
the presidents of the USA, I think none of them were particularly rich for the last so many. But after they were in office, they became multi-millionaires. Same with Tony Blair as well. You think how much money has he made after dinner speeches and all these kind of things, like Bill Clinton, same, Obama, same. They're all massively wealthy now. I think Obama even has a chef who I think drowned himself in 5 foot of water. Um,
I think you saw Mike's dong or something. Big Mike. I like I think I saw a tweet the other day about Justin Trudeau. I think apparently when he was prime minister, he was worth something like 13 million and earned, I think it's about 400K a year to be prime minister in Canada. He's only not been prime minister for about 2 or 3 years. He's now worth 350 million.
Yeah, I don't know if there's full truth to that one because he was from a wealthy family. Whereas I know that other ones, what was the horse Gollum in New Zealand called?
Oh God, yeah.
Because she became massively rich in office, and that was completely unexplained. Whereas I think Trudeau, his dad was a former prime minister, and it's kind of like one of those extremely rich legacy families like Boris Johnson.
What, Fidel Castro? That's his daddy.
Whilst
That's his real dad, but
I was going to say
the illegitimate dad was rich.
his dad who raised him and watched from the cook chair was the former prime minister.
As his wife cheats on him with a fucking communist. Yeah, so the other thing, let's just wrap up the Bitcoin conference then, eh? We also had Jack Mallers, who was probably he pretty much freaking set the world alight at this Bitcoin conference by announcing the El Salvador stuff. And he comes with a real big story. He's like his 21 company has a big announcement. He's got a big keynote speech on the last day. And he essentially says he's selling Strike, going public, selling it to Tether, and merging his 21 into a single company. You go, who gives a fuck about that? What's that got? How is that a keynote? What's that got to do with Bitcoin? Absolutely nothing, really. He's essentially taking shitcoin money, really, from via Tether. It kind of proves
Yeah,
that
that's a
Strike
cop out.
Yeah, and like his pitch is, oh no, we're not just a treasury company. We're going to be building Bitcoin assets. Now we're super well funded. when you look right underneath the covers, right, and always follow the money, right, in these things. Jack gets
Always.
600. He takes 600K a year just to be CEO of Just 21. Apparently, he has over 40 million in shares in that company that have now vested because they've essentially been acquired. He gets paid a fuck ton of money at Strike. Those shares also have now all paid out because essentially they've been acquired by Tether, and they're now going to get listed. And he says he's going to build a load of things on for Bitcoin and stuff, but everyone's just looking at it going,
Right. They won't.
you've
You
lined
saw
your
that.
own pockets first, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and you haven't done anything really yet. Not really.
They built the rails, granted, but they haven't actually done anything significant that's been fundamentally game changing.
No. All
It's
he's done,
just a startup.
yeah, he's cashing in on his celebrity, isn't he, really? Because
Yeah.
having Jack as your CEO is worth a lot of money. And he's probably going, well done, I don't have a lot of money. So,
Yeah.
as in like, tens of millions, kind of a
Yeah.
lot of money. So I think he just kind of went, well, why not? Why don't I have that yet? And the problem is, what that'll do to him now is it just takes the hunger away. I don't think he'll be as hungry anymore. It'll just be, it's all a bit sad. And yeah, people have just really fallen off on Jack now and gone, he was just a LARP. Once the devil sits on your shoulder and it's like, I know you're grinding and working really hard for Bitcoin and trying to build these companies and build the rails for Bitcoin, but I'll buy your company for $1 billion today. And if you just stop, it's hard to not take that deal. Very, very hard. Everyone's got their price. Greed will get to us all. And yeah, and unfortunately, I can't believe Jack got up on stage and did it and announced that and tried to like make that come across positively, really, because Bitcoiners aren't stupid. Read between the lines. Obviously, his whole speech was super well written, super well presented, very slick. All look like the future of Bitcoin is bright, and they're going to be at the front, pioneering new tech for Bitcoin. But really, when you stop and go, what the
But
fuck?
too smart, too quick, too slick. We're already thinking, okay, that benefits you. How does it benefit us?
Yeah.
Immediately, like we don't even need time. It's just like, okay, we've absorbed what you've said, regardless of how well you've written it. It's just like, yeah, great, you've cashed out. Thank you. Well done. We don't begrudge you, but don't try to spin it in a way that it benefits us all or the wider community. Like, you've done a lot. We get it. You want to get rich. You, as in you, Jack.
Yeah,
Everything else is like, stop. Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's just fiat rich because some of the stuff he was talking about stretch a lot, this MicroStrategy stretch thing. Like apparently 21's going to have a version of it. Apparently stretch does 11.5%. He's going to do 13. And you go, Jack, what you doing? I don't give a fuck what fiat percentage you get if I buy your shitty stock. I don't want a dividend off a fiat stock. Just because you hold Bitcoin does not mean that this is Bitcoin. I'm putting money back into the fiat system on the hope of a return. That's just back to, we're not here, you come in for the gains and then stay for the revolution, right? This ain't the revolution. You're just building the same building blocks on top of the fiat system, which we're all saying is about to collapse. So why are you launching a company in there? And obviously I think half of him goes, yeah, well, probably will collapse, but at least I've cashed out now. Even if it happens, I'm sure he's still a Bitcoiner, and I'm sure the majority of the money that he's now, accumulated from the sale of Strike and his 21 company into Tether, he probably will convert a load of it into Bitcoin, but he won't be buying his shitty 13% fucking dividend stock. I can guarantee it. He'll be holding Bitcoin in self-custody on his freaking hardware wallets. And so seeing someone like him is like the new generation coming through, because he's only a young lad. I don't think he's even 30 yet. And just seeing him be turned so quickly into essentially getting up on stage, shilling a fiat product where 4 years ago, he was up there saying El Salvador have just adopted Bitcoin as its standard currency. And you go, which just blows your mind. Fiat, boom, gone. Bitcoin is now at the front in El Salvador. And now he's, buy my stock, I give you 13%. And fuck's that. It's fucking
yeah.
sad, isn't it?
We don't forget. We're too, cynical.
We don't need any
Yeah.
fucking idols and Bitcoin.
No.
We don't, but we do need some people to build some fucking products. Well, admittedly, I think as always, the Bitcoin conference is largely dead now. It gets all the big names, but the developers and stuff, they don't get on stage. They don't present very well. So it's always the thing, isn't it? If you're good at presenting and you're good at selling, then you're usually quite, good at capturing people's attention. But it doesn't mean you understand Bitcoin right to its nitty gritty. And I kind of like the autistic lads that can barely string a sentence together. When I speak to those kind of lads, like at these
The
Bitcoin
Adam
conferences,
Backs of this world.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
an Adam Back, exactly.
Yeah. Adam Back is amazing, but he's so awkward when he's talking, and is just like, wow, you are a genius on earth, but I wouldn't buy anything off you. You don't excite me, but you excite me. You just doing what you're doing is good enough because you're good enough.
Come on, well, he was one of the people that was
I think
coding Bitcoin.
those types of, yeah. When you hear it from him, and he's just like, I've game theoried it out. I was watching an interview with him not long ago, the other week, and I was just like, that's what I want to listen to. There should be more of him.
Exactly.
But they're too shy to get on stage or even want to present and talk in wider context, or just not even just shy. It's just like they're just introverts, aren't they?
Yeah, they massively are. And it's all these the flashier lads and stuff that they've never coded put a line of code into Bitcoin in their lives. I can almost guarantee you about a third of Bitcoin is coded or comes from the brain of Adam Back. So when you're speaking to him, if you ask him a question about Bitcoin, especially a technical one, if he doesn't know the answer, very likely there's not a single person alive that does. And if you put Adam Back and then in one room and Saylor in one room and Jack Mallers in another, right?
Yeah.
Jack and Saylor have got standing room only, and Adam Back's got no one in there.
Yeah.
And who's talking about
Scaramucci guy?
Oh God, Samucci, he's a fucking absolute wanker stain, that guy.
Yeah. But he is the classic, I'm weird, I'm saying, like, salesperson.
Yeah, snake oil salesman.
He handles people's money, and he would be the perfect person to be like, give me the money and I'll look after it for you, whilst taking my cut at the same time.
He's the kind of guy that would come round and he can go and test for moisture in your loft after dipping his moisture tester in his fucking Diet Coke and being like, it's riddled up there, mate. You need it all changing. Otherwise, known as a scammer. But then our final story of the week is there's a Bitcoin dividend coming. So essentially, there's yet another fork of Bitcoin. Been a while since we've had one of these. Paul, what's his talk? He's quite a prominent.
I think we've missed it, as in got 2 or 10%, and we both missed it. I know you were fortunate enough.
Oh right, yeah, for the Bcash and BSB and all those stuff. Yeah.
Back in the day, 2017, 16, but we weren't fortunate enough to ride that wave.
Yes, it was a pretty good time, really. It was pretty chaotic when it was happening because it was genuinely like we don't actually know which fork might survive. There was a chance, especially for the first one with Bitcoin Cash. It was like, if you looked at Twitter, it looked like most people were against Bcash, but it was, if you listen to them, they were like, we're going to be the dominant fork and we're going to plow billions. So it was quite scary. But then, as long as you're just, no, I don't really care whether it's scary or not. I'm just going to sell my Bcash anyway. So yeah, it turned out you basically got about 15% of whatever if you had £100 worth of Bitcoin, you would basically have £15 worth of Bcash just for free, just appears in your wallet. So you could just dump it and convert it to Bitcoin. So you just got 15% more Bitcoin for your money. And then BSV came out about 6 months after that, or a year after that, and that was about 5%. And then there was freaking hundreds of things, and they're all just fractions. However, there is a risk at claiming this stuff, though, because you do need to do something to claim it. It's very, very risky, and there is the potential to lose all your Bitcoin when you are doing it. So for this one, I definitely wouldn't recommend anybody claim it. But let's just see what happens, eh? So this guy is basically going, and Paul Sostork, he is a guy that I've seen he's been around in Bitcoin for a long, long time. And yeah, so he's basically launching a new coin called eCash, which, how we talk about Adam Back, eCash was the precursor to Bitcoin written by Adam Back. So he's nicking that name and no doubt trying to steal the credibility that comes with it to add to his shitcoin. So basically it's largely a copy of Bitcoin. We're going to merge some stuff, blah, blah, blah. But they have a very interesting difference down here. Where is he? Where did he put it? Here, he put it down in the third tweet. In this fork, this is what everybody does, right? Everybody does this in the fork. Satoshi has this rumored, 1.1 million coins, right? That's in 20,000 different wallets from his early mining of Bitcoin when there wasn't many people mining. He's gonna basically steal a load of these, fewer than half, basically 500,000 of them, 500,000. He says it'd be controversial. Well, yeah, stealing Satoshi's coins is always going to be a bit controversial, mate. And basically we're going to take these and give them to our developers and investors and blah, blah, blah. Basically, it just means this is the grift, right? If he can get any form of interest in his coin, he automatically also has 500,000 of these eCash stolen from Satoshi. His defense will be, but Satoshi still has 600,000. If he wants those, he can have them. But as always, there's a grift there. It's not a shit coin that's made out of nothing, where you can just obviously pre-mine loads of it and just give it to yourself. He's like, no, it's a fork of Bitcoin, so therefore it is Bitcoin, right? What you've got on this chain is the same on the next chain, which is true, other than the fact that he's stealing 500,000 Bitcoin from Satoshi and giving it to himself and his founders as, I guess, a reward for doing the project. So as always, yet another grift. Comes out in August. So we've got a few months to wait. Have a look. Who knows? To a certain extent, part of me hopes he's successful and he gets a decent price for his little shit coin. He can make a load of money. And who knows, maybe we get 5 or 10% dividend on our Bitcoin and we can grab his shit coin, convert it to Bitcoin and just have 10% more Bitcoin. I'll take that.
It's just the transferring of a bit.
I was going to say, is that where you see the risk in terms of the transfer of one to another in hope that you get the other?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. I remember I've never been so scared in my life doing the Bcash.
Because that's what I was going to come on to. How did you do it previously in order to get the from Bcash?
Yeah. Apparently there's a thing called a replay attack, and basically you've got to send. You have to move your Bitcoin. Basically, you have to.
Ouch.
Yeah. You have to. You have to move it, and you have to send it to a new address, and then it comes back with the additional coin attached. And I did this, and I actually I was actually holding a friend's Bitcoin, and for some weird reason, I thought I'll do his first. I literally, it was a big enough amount where if I'd have lost it, I'd have been fucked. It's not like, oh, fine, I'll just replace it. So I don't know why I did it really. I should have just chosen a tiny wallet. I grabbed this, I went, I'll do it. I just wasn't, I don't think I really appreciated the danger. And then I did it, sent it off, and then nothing. Just nothing. And this is back in peak time, like 2016, 2017. Like there's a bull market going on, everything's going crazy, network's jammed. So you're just waiting like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and like nothing's happening. It's just gone. The Bitcoin's just gone. And I'm like, I had to go out. I literally went out and literally just went for a walk around the city. I was like, I just need to get my mind off it. I can't just sit there pressing refresh. Just go out for an hour, come back, and everything will be fine. And thank Satoshi, it was. Like I got back, I clicked refresh on the fucking wallet, and the Bitcoin appeared, and then there's a load of Bcash sat next to it. I'm like, thank fuck for that. I don't have to send the message to my mate and go, I've lost your Bitcoin. But so it is. They do write tools for it as well, but yeah, to a certain extent, unless it's a huge amount and the tools are very, very well tested. If anything, I'd literally almost go. I'd probably at this point, probably in my life now, I'd probably go unless like a Kraken or a Coinbase basically allowed me to do it.
Yeah.
There. And actually, the only time they ever let you to do it, actually, yeah, because Coinbase did let you do it, but you had to their protocol is you have to hold the Bitcoin on their exchange at the time of the fork. And if you do, the coins just get added to your account.
Oh.
But if you hold them self-custody, then it's on you then to basically do the work to release the extra coins. That's the scary bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So and there's no way I would send all my coins off to Coinbase or Kraken now and just have them sit there to like maybe get a. And the chances are this coin's going to be like a 0.001% dividend. It's not fucking worth even doing. It's just and these forks. There's literally been hundreds of them. It's just that the only reason that I've even added this one to the agenda is that this guy's quite prominent. He's got quite a big name. He was a big Bitcoiner back in the day, and then he pivoted into shitcoining about 5 years ago or something. I think he went down the Bcash route. So he's obviously come back and gone, let's have another go at Bcash, but call it eCash this time. So just skipped a couple of letters and just put E there, see whether it works, try and piggyback on Adam Back's good name. But yeah, it's probably a nothing burger. And for the non-technical people out there, just don't do anything. Don't do anything.
Just wait.
It's just not fucking worth it. Even if it was like a 20 or 30% dividend, the likelihood is you're going to lose 100% of your Bitcoin. You're not going to get the dividend. So
yeah, I think as well, though, now in today's day and age, is it would take for many to lose their Bitcoin or for something bad to happen for everybody to know that it's bad and just kind of, okay, yeah, stay away from it. You definitely wouldn't be the first person or want to be the first person to say, hey, I'm going to try this new process. No.
definitely, yeah. Just like I say, if like there's an update to Ledger or whatever your wallet is, always press later. Don't be the first to update anything in Bitcoin. Be low down. Unless there's a massive load of like chatter about a huge vulnerability in a certain thing and like you're at risk if you don't update quickly, fine, do it then. But if it's just a random update that when you log in it goes update, I always just go not now. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Do it in a month's time, just in case this is the update that has the vulnerability in it. That never be first. Let the smart people go first that read the code and do all that good stuff. none of us read code. We're fucking just pressing install.
Yeah.
And that is the fucking best. So let all the super smart people in Bitcoin do that, and then
I did
Yeah.
I did get a letter from Ledger that I need to update.
by scanning a QR code and putting in your 24 words.
Yeah, and it was really funny because it was to my parents' address, and I definitely didn't live at home.
This should be shared actually, because it was good. Because people will fall for it, I
I
feel.
just looked at it and I'm like, you've obviously connected me off the Ledger link, but you've got my parents' address, which I haven't been at for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you've got this on a consented database somewhere.
Yeah. You probably registered to vote there at some point.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I've lost my Bitcoin anyway now.
Yeah, it's time to all off to India. Launching a GoFundMe
Right.
or an OnlyFans.
Already got an OnlyFans.
$5.99 to see that butthole.
He's considering it.
I mean, I was going to say $5.99 is $5.99. I mean,
yeah, a lot of shit going on in life.
Yeah,
So $5.99 sounds good.
Yeah, two subscribers a month. That's like fish and chip meal.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Not to forget the extras.
Yeah, get those mushy peas for another user.
What, is this in the butthole now, or are you still at the takeaway?
I'm talking about what you get for the OnlyFans subscribers.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering where the mushy peas are going, in the takeaway or your butthole.
What, and the Shrek costume?
And on that note, I think it's time to sign off. This has been another podcast brought to you by the 4Bs, Mr. All-In, aka the $1 Trillion Man, Dr. Evil 10%, the People's Champ, aka the Butthole King, and myself, Sir Neverlook, aka the Excellence of Execution. We are out. Peace.